Okay, so I know the official Japanese name for this show is Madan no Oto Vanadis, but I'm not going to be able to remember that every single time, so I'm just going to call it by its English name, Lord Marksman and Vanadis. That's so much easier. And really, when I first heard of this show, I'm thinking, another fantasy-based anime, like, and then I looked at it, I was like, oh, it looks like a harem too. It has so many females, and usually I don't like harems, so I was a little concerned watching the first episode. And really, the first episode made me excited for the show. It has an interesting setting, good main character. I mean, I can't believe I'm saying this, but this is one of the few times where I feel like this guy, I can believe, would gain the affection of a lot of females. He's raised as a noble. He's Tigre, kind of a weird name, Tigre. Better than his full name. I mean, good God, I can't even pronounce it. I can't even pronounce half the names of the countries or the people in this show. I mean, I don't know what they're kind of basing their names on, like some foreign nation, because they're clearly not all Japanese. But it just sounds like they're just making up names based on like, oh, I heard this over in Europe or in Spain. Let's make their names look like this. Or like, no, what? No, I can't read that. And apparently, there's war going on in this anime, and I like those kind of shows. They build the world and exactly where its status is. It's the Kingdom of Burn, weird ass name, I don't know why, versus the Kingdom of, again, the name just looks like a bunch of letters meshed together, but I'm just gonna call it the Z Kingdom, the Kingdom of Z. Or maybe not. Maybe it's this fact that this kingdom is home to war maidens, who are these females who are gifted these items with powers of the gods. Maybe they're the gods' favorites. I have no idea. They're war maidens. So maybe it's the kingdom of hot babes. Maybe that's why everyone's trying to conquer them. It's a nation of hot babes. I have no idea. I need to know more about this land before I actually can remember their names, remember their lore, and exactly how everything works. But either way, so far the main female lead, again, is very believable, and I don't know too much about her, so I can't say if I'm liking her. But for now, I can believe why she's keeping this guy alive. She was disappointed with how things turned out in the first battle at the very beginning of this episode. She went charging in with only 5,000 against 25,000, and she was actually hoping most of her men would die. That's kind of weird. Makes me question exactly why they put her in charge. Is it just because of the powered thing? Because if that's so, that's kind of a bad way of running a country. But either way, she's disappointed because most of them actually ran away because of her sneak attack, and that disappointed her. She wanted a challenge. She wanted the thrill of, almost dying, kind of like that. And so she's riding away, disappointed. But here comes Tigre with his bow and arrow, just like boom, boom. I would question why he shot the horses instead of the people riding them, but yeah, they probably wouldn't have let him live if he took out some of their royal guard or whatever. So, they have to keep him alive. He's a prisoner of war, and they're holding him ransom. So his nation, his city, or his little mini country, it's pretty small. It looks just like a city, so maybe it's just land, but he's a lord there, and they're holding him ransom for them to pay them, but they can't afford the ransom that they're asking for. And Tigre is saying, lower it. There's no way my hometown can pay for that. I mean, they're just a nice, quiet village. And of course, Ellen, that's her name, or at least her short name. Again, the names I cannot pronounce. Thank God they've been given nicknames. She said, of course, she doesn't want to give him up because she's interested in him. In fact, the reason that they keep him alive, she just blatantly states out, "I've fallen in love with you." Oh, okay. And at first I was like, oh, really? They're doing this? But knowing her personality of war and loving, battle and stuff like that, she finds him interesting for the fact that he stood his ground even though he was all by himself. His men were all killed, and he's surrounded by a bunch of his dead allies, and he's still just shooting at them. Like, I mean, I'm gonna die, but I'm just gonna die fighting. Like, you gotta respect that. And of course, you know, from the opening, you can tell there's gonna be a bunch of girls, you know, and they're all wearing skimpy armor. I don't know why. I mean, I don't know why they have to do that. I mean, armor is just fine. I mean, I would find any woman in armor attractive. Full armor, not skimpy armor that looks like it's armor / bikini. I have no idea. And I can already tell Ellen's assistant, Lim, again, that's her nickname, is the tsundere type. She's, you know, gonna hate this guy and be angry at him for everything he does, but eventually she'll see how good he is. Whatever. So again, it has a great setting, interesting main characters, you know, main female lead, main male lead, but for now, everything else around them, I don't know about. It ends with, you know, his kingdom, or his, again, I don't know what to call it, his Lord Town or whatever, but it's under attack by this other noble, Thurnadir. Weird ass names. And that's pretty much where it ends. He wants to go over there and protect his home from this, and of course, you know, Ellen's not gonna let him because he's a prisoner of war. So I'm wondering where it's gonna go. But again, interesting setting, you know, great story, you know, great male character. That's hard to find. In most harems, the male character is bland, it's completely useless. But no, this one, he's raised as a noble. He's raised to be a warrior and fight well with a bow and arrow. You don't see that often. I mean, I myself wouldn't be the first to choose bow and arrow. I wouldn't go out and get a sniper rifle and just you know, shoot from a distance. No, I'm the kind of guy who would love to get up close and personal with a sword. I would be like, I want to see my enemy before I kill him. And I don't want him to die not knowing who killed him. But I do have a certain amount of respect for those who do. You know, to be a sniper is a lot of work. It's difficult. Especially, you know, as soon as you take that first shot, your element of surprise is gone. You've got to be quick about getting this next shot in and not missing, because as soon as your cover is blown, you know, they know where you are. They're going to go after you full force, and they're going to be able to dodge your next shots if you're not careful. So again, I got a lot of respect for the archer, you know, but again, I'm not going to be the first one to go out and get a bow and arrow for myself. I'm going to get a sword. But either way, like I said, great main character. He's a good guy. I feel bad for him. His home country is in trouble, and I'm really hoping, you know, he gets through this. He finds a way out of this country, and I feel like they will, because I don't think Ellen is that heartless, even though she kind of was jumping to executing a bunch of people that are in her country because they laughed at him. It's like, whoa, that's a little harsh. Like, how do you run this country? It looks nice, but you're kind of brutal. I'm still questioning why she's the leader. Is it if it's just really the power? That's not a good way to run the country, guys. You see how she's ready to execute you with no problem. So either way, while I question the kingdom of hot babes, that's what I don't know how to pronounce that. Their actual name, Zictide. It sounds weird. Zictide. It sounds stupid. I'm sorry. I know they're trying to come up with creative names, like it's a different universe, but there's a limit to how ridiculous your names can be. There has to be some form of logic of creating these names. But either way, while I'm still concerned about the whole harem thing building up later on in the series, I feel like it won't be that bad. It'll at least have a decent male character with hopefully some good development, and put in a very creative and interesting setting. So hopefully it won't be as bad. It'll probably be an okay show, and that's all I can say about it. So either way, until the next episode, I'm Tony Dragon. Bye bye.